What makes a video game your favorite? Maybe it was one of the first you can remember playing. Maybe it helped you through a really hard time. Maybe it has powerful and memorable moments and characters, or it shaped your opinions on what you even enjoy about games. Or maybe the game is just genuinely fun and never gets old. Or maybe it's all of those things, plus you can play as Kermit the Frog flying in a spaceship, throwing chickens while laughing like a maniac. I've always been a massive fan of the Muppets. I grew up on the movies and the original Muppet Show, so for a kid like me who was a huge fan of the Muppets, to find out that there was a Muppet video game on his favorite video game console, I was pretty excited. Muppet RaceMania released on October 3rd, 2000, and I played so much of this as a kid. The promise of getting to play it at the end of the day is what got me through preschool. Seriously, knowing this game was waiting for me at the end of the day was the only way I could subject myself to preschool, a place devoid of Muppets. But sometimes you experience something you loved as a kid years and years later, and you find out it was actually much worse than you remember. Muppet RaceMania is not one of those games. It's actually better. I swear nobody believes me when I talk about how good this game is. This isn't just one of the best kart racers I've ever played, this is one of my all-time favorite games. Now, if you're worried that I'm just nostalgia blind and this is going to be a very biased video, yes. Nostalgia aside, I do still think this is a very good game. I would even go as far as to say it's better than Garfield Kart. Yeah, it's that good. I know, Garfield Kart fans, I know, I don't like saying that either. But before you get out your pitchforks, let me at least explain just what makes this game so good. This is the game's loading screen. If that's not good game design, I don't know what is. Muppet RaceMania actually plays very differently from other kart racers of the time. It's a lot more chaotic with a lot more stuff going on, which tonally is a perfect fit for the Muppets. Cars are flying all over the place, you can freely jump at any time and even bounce off of other racers for extra height. Gameplay feels a lot more aggressive than many other kart racers. Stars on the course give you items. There are only 4 items, but all of them are helpful and well balanced. Penguins are dropped to hit players behind you, fish are thrown straight ahead, chickens chase after other racers, and bombs bounce around. You can also hold 2 items at once, so you can hold an item until you need it. There are also vegetables everywhere. Collecting them will fill up your meter. If you fill up your meter, you have 2 options. Each Muppet has a unique special move that halts all the other racers for a brief moment. All of them do pretty much the same thing, but it's cool to see those unique moves that are usually inspired by some aspect of the character's personality. If you don't want to use your special move though, you can use the actual star. It's not called the actual star, but that's what I called it when I was a tiny child. Don't ask why, I have no idea. Anyway, this will make you invincible and play the game for you for a minute. It can even dodge the special moves. Both of these options are really good and helpful for different situations, but there's also a third option. You can instead burn through your meter for extra speed. The core gameplay is, for some reason, really deep. It's one of the more unique and interesting kart racers I've ever played, and it's a Muppets game. Moving on to the racetracks themselves, there are 12 starting tracks, 2 from each of the 6 theatrical Muppet movies at the time. When you load one up, you even get a short clip from the movie showing the inspiration for the track, which is just so cool. The first track is the swamp from the Muppet movie. This is a great first track that does a great job of teaching you how to play the game. It shows you the importance of jumping, that water can slow you down. It really is a good introductory track. It is weirdly very eerie though. For the first race in the game, it's very dark and creepy, especially the music. It's such a strange introduction to the game and I absolutely adore it. Also, Statler and Waldorf are the announcers. They just make fun of the game the entire time.
Look at this shipwreck!
I don't see anything.
No, I was talking about the game.
Oh!
Hey, do you want to watch this race?
I can't. I'm swamped.
Oh!
This is the scariest part of this race.
The graveyard?
No, the drivers.
Oh!
See, now they didn't have to go and do that, but they did anyway. It's stuff like this that shows that the people behind this game really do love the Muppets. Anyway, all of the tracks are really great. All of them are so memorable and distinct from each other too. Happiness Hotel with its sharp turns and staircase that characters with bad turning ram into all the way down. ghost town and its branching pathways, the dock and the ridiculous amount of vegetables it gives you, Mallory Gallery with this stupid fake shortcut that clearly looks like a shortcut but actually takes you further back in the race for some reason. Despite that one annoying tunnel, every track in this game is great. Each stage has its own music too that perfectly captures the atmosphere there. By now you might have noticed, the music in this game is phenomenal. Once again, I don't know why they tried this hard on a Muppet game, but I'm incredibly thankful they did. Seriously, some of the music tracks in this game are insane. Outside of just racing, there's also the adventure mode for each stage. You can freely drive around the stage, gathering collectibles under a time limit, each one unlocking something new. The main collectibles are all of the item stars, the vegetables, and 10 tokens hidden around the level. Each one unlocks a different way to replay the track. There's the reverse races, as well as 2 different battle modes, but we'll come back to those. The adventure mode, of course, is amazing. Other than just giving you more fun stuff to do, it actually helps you get better at races. Many of the tokens are hidden pretty well, but by finding them all, you'll be able to find all the shortcuts that you can use during the actual race. Each track has a lot of areas that you'll never really visit while racing, and are just there for the adventure mode. Some of these racetracks are a lot bigger than you'd ever expect only playing the races. There's a few more collectibles hidden in each track too. There's a hidden movie, which lets you watch the level's opening clip whenever you want. Almost every track also has a secret character for you to unlock. They're hiding somewhere on the level, and after you track them down, you have to beat them in a race to unlock them. It's a really satisfying way to unlock characters. Right after you unlock a character, you're taken to Meet the Muppets, a menu where you can try out all the racers and see which ones you like best. And if you wait on the screen long enough, the Muppets will say something funny at you.
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
I'm Fozzie. Waka waka.
Racing's cool.
It sure is, Zoot. The game has 25 racers, all with their own unique vehicle. Most of the obvious picks are there: Kermit, Fozzie, Gonzo, Miss Piggy, but there's also a few more obscure choices like Bean, Clifford, Sal. For the one kid out there whose favorite Muppet is Johnny Fiamma, you're in luck. You can also unlock every car to be used by any character too. So if Buns and Honeydew is your favorite Muppet, but you hate his driving style, you can just put him in a different car. The selection of characters is really good, but I always thought it was a bit odd that Lou Zealand wasn't in the game, when his boomerang fish is literally an item. But as it turns out, if you stop to look at the portraits in the theater level, you can actually spot a picture of him. Most of the characters in this game have these pictures used for loading screens, and they repurpose them for these portraits. Strangely enough, Lou has one of these pictures too, but this is the only place in the game it's used, so it might be possible he was intended to be in the game but was cut for whatever reason. There is one final character in the game that you don't unlock the same way as the others. Every stage has a doozer, from another Jim Henson show, Fraggle Rock. You have to carry the doozer to the portal, and doing that on every single level will unlock him as a racer. Unlocking doozer also unlocks a new track, Fraggle Rock itself. I always thought this was such a cool inclusion. The Gorgs even make an appearance here, and they are absolutely terrifying. So this seems like a ton of content, right? This game's gonna take forever to complete. Keep in mind, this is only half of what the game has to offer. There is still so much more. All 6 movies also have one battle map. The battle mode is really unique from other kart racers I've played. Take a game like Mario Kart. There's different modes where you're collecting the most coins, playing capture the flag, popping balloons. Oh, that's cute. The Muppets are out for blood though. The battle mode in Muppet RaceMania is a deathmatch free-for-all where your only goal is to completely destroy every other racer's vehicle. Aside from using the 4 items to attack, you can ram into each other, burn your meter for more damage, as well as jumping on other cars, which ends up doing quite a bit of damage. Special moves are extremely deadly here. You can freeze all the other Muppets and pick one to just wail on. But that goes both ways, the other players will do the exact same thing to you. And once knocked out, the destroyed cars will stay there too and can get in your way. This mode is brutal. This game's battle mode is the root of all my anxiety. It is absolutely terrifying. These guys will chase you down, they'll trap you in a corner, they'll just appear out of nowhere and destroy you, the whole time making goofy sounds at you. It takes me ages to play through this game because I can't do more than one battle in a row without becoming physically ill from all the anxiety. That said, this mode is so much fun. My usual strategy is to find a good route and drive around in circles. If I happen to find a racer, I'll unleash all my items at once. This works decently well for most of the stages, until the destroyed cars end up blocking the tunnels. All of these have their own collectibles and secrets to unlock, just like the races. While you don't unlock characters here, you can unlock boss battles. This puts you in a 1v1 against that level's unique boss character. These are really fun, though the 2v1 and 3v1 matches feel pretty unfair when there's 2 to 3 guys teaming up on you all at once. After you beat a boss battle, you can play as that stage's boss on that level, which is a fun little bonus. My favorite stage for this mode is Arches, an unlockable stage based on the intro to the Muppet Show. It plays the opening theme and everything. It's very cool. Getting back to those unlockable battle modes I mentioned earlier, each race can be used as a battle map, which is a neat bonus, but most of these levels are too big to really work, especially if you know a lot of the secret areas in these levels. What is good, however, is Battle Race. It's the same lap-based race mode from before, but you can take damage, and players can get eliminated before even finishing the race. This right here is the definitive way to play Muppet RaceMania. It perfectly combines every mechanic in the game, making for an incredibly fun experience. It is a shame that more kart racers don't try something like this. It's such a good mode. So we have the race mode, the battle mode, the tournaments where you play 6 races or 6 battles in a row, and now all of the extra unlockable modes for all of those modes. This game has a lot of content, right? Well, joke's on you, it's a 3D platformer now. Completing the adventure stages requires a lot of platforming and precise jumping, but all 6 movies also have a stunt track where platforming is the entire focus. No other racers, just get from point A to point B through an obstacle course. I was always terrible at these as a kid. I made my sister get all the collectibles here because I just couldn't do it. Coming back to it all these years later, it's not nearly as hard as I remember. A couple of these can be a bit frustrating with some annoying gimmicks, but I enjoyed these for the most part. Funfair is really creative, using different theme park attractions to make different obstacles, and on rooftops it's so much fun to, well, go across rooftops. And of course, there's even more collectibles and unlockables on these. Thankfully, finding a character on these levels unlocks them without you having to race them. And finally, that is the last mode in the game. There really is a ton to do in order to complete this game. After doing everything there is to do in the game, you unlock the final level. Disco is the last secret course, and it's set to Battle Race by default. This is a great reward for finishing everything. It's a really cool level, and it even plays the title screen music, which is a cool detail. But what happens after you 100% the disco level? Buried deep within the options menu of all places, you unlock the final secret the game has to offer, ominously named, The End. A surprisingly fitting visual for something called The End. So the end is actually just the credits for the game, but why is it so creepy? Oh, good job, you beat the game, your reward is nightmares. If you manage to stay on the end longer than a few seconds without running out of the room screaming, you'll find one last secret stored deep within the game, because it wouldn't be Muppet RaceMania without the game's most secret having its own secrets. You unlock 6 of these overhead view levels. They're just like the regular races and battles, just from a different angle. They play really well, and they're really fun. And they just threw these in as a bonus for beating the game to completion. It's a really satisfying conclusion of the game. You know, it's almost unbelievable that a game like this even exists. This was made during a time when a lot of shows or movies would get terrible games that were rushed out just to make a quick buck. But Muppet RaceMania wasn't one of them. It fell into obscurity because how could a Muppets knockoff of Mario Kart be anything more than shovelware? I've replayed this game more times than I can count. Granted, I did accidentally delete the save data for the game several times and force my family to spend an entire day trying to unlock everything again, but the point still stands. The Muppets actually had a handful of pretty good games, but this one's always going to be my favorite. And why, you might ask? Because you can play as Kermit the Frog, flying in a spaceship, throwing chickens, while laughing like a maniac.
Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-